Welcome back to the Box Score podcast. I'm here with Mike and Con. How you guys going?
Good, good. Out here in California, actually, it's the weather's been great. You know, the sun. No, it's been actually a really nice sunny week. I mean, especially in the city. Do you know how crazy it
Yeah.
is? In March, it's in the mid to high 70s and clear skies. I
Well,
mean, so beautiful. You know what's also beautiful? A Warriors win, especially a Warriors win over those Fulios in SoCal, right? You know, we were right the
right.
ABC Saturday Showcase game. Came through. Definitely provided a lot of entertainment for all fans. Maybe not as much for Laker fans, but it was a hell of a game. If you had the opportunity to tune in, they kept showing. Bad Bunny was present. Novak
The stars are
Djokovic.
out for sure.
Dude, if you look at the highlights and you check my Twitter feed, the excitement on J Lo's face when Steph had that 4-point play, shout out to
Yeah.
J Lo, freaking timeless, So
Yeah, man. Ain't she?
I know, and then dude, I love Ben Affleck, but I don't like, dude, you're sitting courtside, like front and center, like you look like a lumberjack. No offense to lumberjacks, but like I don't know, man. She looks like just like she did at the VMAs, or was that like back in '99 or what? I don't know.
Yes, she
I don't
does.
know what he's doing, man. But
He just tipped his hat like, yeah, I'm
no,
here. That
no,
she's
but
mine.
in all seriousness, like watching last night's game, obviously, going back to what Mason and I were saying, like I make
Oh,
like the
wait,
joke.
wait. Shout out to Mason too. And let's let the people know that Mason's on vacation.
Oh
Mason
yeah,
cation.
You having
He's
a
having a
great
Mason
time in Miami.
cation. He's
in
in Miami. So Heat fans treat him
You
well.
getting wasted
That's
right now.
right, Miami Mason, man.
Miami. Mason, Miami. Hey.
Have fun, Mason. Just hopefully there's no Miami Vice going down.
You're right.
No, but going back to what Mason was saying last week, I mean, yeah, obviously any win is exciting, but at the end of the day, as it pertains to the Warriors and Lakers, wow, right? The Warriors and
Yeah.
Lakers swapped standing, right, like a seat in the
Yeah.
standings, right? So the
Hmm.
Warriors are currently ninth, the Lakers are 10th. What does that mean? We're both in the bottom bracket of the play-in, and right now both teams would have to win 2 games just to make it into the formal
Hmm.
playoffs. So there's still a lot of work ahead, but um from a fan, just a general fan perspective, I mean, just looking at a lot of reactions, on social media, I do think at least one of the common reactions to last night's game is the the rivalry, and I mean that in a good
Hmm.
way. The
Yeah.
rivalry between Steph and LeBron is definitely one for the ages.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna go. I mean, hey, right? Not to get nostalgic, but it probably go down as maybe like Magic and Bird, you know, Russell and Wilt. Like you'll look back at
After
this era and you'll think of that rivalry. And
Oh yeah, it's the LeBron and Steph era for sure. Yeah.
yeah. After so many finals matchups, yeah, it has to be.
yeah,
How many was it in a row? Like six,
four,
four? Oh my
Four in a
god,
row?
four, 15,
15 through
16, 17,
19.
and 18. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And now being in the Western Conference together. So who's seeing each
Right.
other 4 times a year, like
And
you
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
they brought it. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, they really brought it. Obviously LeBron when AD couldn't come back in for the second half because of that eye injury. So again,
Yeah.
hopefully he's okay. And Steph being his first game back, from like a 10-day layoff. I mean,
Hmm.
he was scoreless the first quarter,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Hey, man, I got my win. I'm good."
Man, he had the towel over his head and he's just like, I'm like, oh, like he want to win. He go over there and ha ha he with LeBron. Like I tweeted, he can, but he want to win because when he lose to the Lakers, yeah, you can see it on his face. You know what I mean? Like he wants to beat LeBron. Like every time they match up. So
Yeah,
hey, I was happy that they got that win yesterday.
yeah.
They
And
definitely bring out the best in each other for
just
sure.
one more thought about that Laker game. or the Warrior game, I should say. The Warriors do not win that one without bona fide second option Jonathan Kuminga.
Mm-hmm.
Who
yes, sir.
no, that game could have easily gone away from the Warriors, but my God, he would not allow it. Like he completely carried that team until Steph and Clay kind of found their legs.
Yeah.
And as the broadcast said, as Michael has been saying, especially when he's knocking down that 3-pointer, he really was unstoppable. And I mean, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see, the maturation, the development of, a young player right before your eyes in real time.
Yeah.
It's whatever you thought, if you thought like highly of him, just continues to elevate his stock.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely one of the best feelings of basketball for sure. Watching someone sort of develop and grow in front of your eyes, especially if it's one of the on the team you support. But I think another sort of standout player in that game was Draymond Green, with one of the most Draymond Green stat lines I can in recent memory. Yeah, 12 rebounds, 13 assists.
We needed
field goals
the
made.
full 6 points, right, to make sure we kind of kept a good margin. But like I wanted him to stay at 2 points.
No, those 6 points. Those 6 points counted though. Those 6 points counted.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, but like the quintessential Draymond Green, like he finished with 6 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists. Like the quintessential Draymond line would have been 2 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists.
Right. And I love that play where he like faked LeBron out. It was just like, and then he went up. I was like, okay, Dre, okay. Like, so, yeah, I think, especially, I read something about him, or was it him on his pod saying, like, or it was the conference, I believe. They asked him about playing center more now, and he was just like, that's what we got to do. So, him taking that on kind of really cements the Warriors lineup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think that Moody needs more minutes. But I know they were trying to win, so I don't know that Kerr was trusting Moody, but you got to let him play in those kind of games because when the play-in playoffs come, like he's gonna need that. He's gonna need that much more experience to be in high pressure moments to be able to actually show up. You know what I mean, and not feel pressure. I doubt he would, but just they won, so it's okay. You know what I mean? But he's next. I'm paying attention to him for sure.
Another game last night was the I don't know if you guys caught this. I certainly didn't. It wasn't at all on my bucket list to watch last night, but it was the Wizards and the Bulls. Ayo Dosunmu had a great game. I thought it was worth a shout out, right? I mean, when we started this podcast, we wanted to talk about the guys that don't necessarily get all the media attention. Well, Wizards and Bulls is certainly that. Ayo Dosunmu, he had, I believe it was 34 points and 9 assists. I just thought I'd give him a shout out. It was a fantastic game.
No, and it's funny. It's funny you bring him up because I was considering him for what our topic is today for the list. I was considering him, and he might have just got off of it because of that.
What are your thoughts, Con? I can see you have a pretty animated look.
Yeah, I'm looking at him too, like, his thoughts going on.
No, I'm just like, we're recording today. It's Sunday, March 17. It's Selection Sunday. It's Selection Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, the final conference championships will take place today. The conference championship games. But no, I'm just getting nostalgic because I loved him. I loved him when he was at Illinois. And Illinois won last night. I did not want them to, but I had some money on Nebraska, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's why he said I had the money up. Yeah.
No, but Dosunmu, I mean, like in his young career, his stock has like gone up and then down and then up. And it seems like it's on, at least for last night. So.
Yeah, and they're gonna need it going forward because where are they in the standings? They're probably like the most unrecognized or is that a word? Unacknowledged They lack knowledge. They lack acknowledgement. Let's just do that. And
we got them.
but they're in the standings. They're in the standings, but I don't know where. But they're in the playoffs, right? Like they're in the picture. So
They are currently ninth. They're currently ninth in the East.
and they
In
have
the East.
the
That's.
capability.
You remember it's the
Mhm.
East. They wouldn't be. They wouldn't be anywhere near ninth if it was in the West.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. The West is a dogfight because to see, not to get off topic, but to see Boston where they are and then the West where they are, it's just like, well, Boston's
I
gonna
would
get
say
punched in the mouth in the finals if they make it that far. And but yeah, the Samu, yeah, I'm happy to see him trending back upward because the Bulls need another. They need pretty much like what the Warriors have, like uh what really like teams like Milwaukee or somebody else need. They need an injection of someone else to come in there and fill in the gap. That's it's like Giannis, Dame, everybody else. Steph, uh, I mean, I would say Clay, Steph Clay, but I'll just say Steph. Everybody else, Kuminga. You know what I mean? Like
There you go.
the
Yeah.
Bulls need that because it's DeRozan. I love Vucevic. I wanted him in Detroit, but it's like
Yeah,
DeRozan,
fantastic game as
Vucevic,
well.
but they're like this, and then it's like it would be nice. Okay, I'll throw Kobe White in there because he's been nice. Um, but it's coasting. You need something to kind of push you up a little bit so you can ascend. And if he can keep this up and just start dropping 18 a game, 20 a game, it'll bode well for them, and then they'll be a surprise team all of a sudden.
All right.
Just before my next question, did you guys actually catch this game live? I'm guessing
Not
you
live,
didn't. No.
not live.
I did intermittently until the Warriors.
The Warriors, yeah, that's my
So,
same excuse.
But so I sort of watched some possessions. I tried to catch up.
Yeah.
Today. And Bilal Coulibaly, I think, had a fantastic game. I think he had about
Yeah.
15 points and 8 rebounds, but it was his
Yeah.
defense on the other end. He was something I love to watch is when a player just really moves his feet on defense. Like those guys who can just
Yes.
stay in front of anybody, right?
Mhm.
It's just the footwork. I love watching that, and he was fantastic with that in this game. I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on Bilal Coulibaly. I think he's definitely been one of the more underrated players or rookies, this season.
Go for it, Con. Because I haven't seen so much of him too much this year.
See, I hate to be a hypocrite because I don't like to use former player comparisons
No,
with
go for
young
it.
guys because like it can kind of it could bias you one way or the other, right? But I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway
Okay.
because for the sake of our listeners, Sean Marion,
Love that.
Sean Marion, his defensive technique, right, and the
Oh
build, like
wow.
the way he moves, just as Nick was saying, defensively,
Yeah.
is very much like Sean Marion, right? The agility, the dexterity, the lateral quickness, but see, like he doesn't use it to compensate or just reading reacting. Like he sees like the angles, right? Like he sees the offensive plays like happening before it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Very
Yeah.
intelligent.
That's why like Sean Marion got the name like the Matrix, right? Because like he's
Right.
like moving, like faster than real time. Coulibaly has a lot of that in him. And I mean, I know I'm saying he's going to be as good as Sean Marion. Maybe he'll be better than Sean Marion. I don't know. But I mean,
That's the tall
yes,
task.
as Nick was saying, like the way he impacts a game just defensively, like you could tell when a player is, and I'm not trying to say like it's a bad thing, but it's like sometimes players will just, out of just athleticism or energy, you know when a player is just kind of like gambling, trying to jump lanes, take a risk. You also can see when a player really understands how to blow up an entire set, right? But before like the play is actually initiated, he does that a lot, and I know it's weird to say because Washington is such a bad team, and but I mean, I think as they have more complementary pieces around, I don't even know who you could say for sure as their core pieces. I mean, I know Coulibaly, but I don't know, right? How they envision
Definitely
Kuzma,
isn't Paul.
Poole, all them moving forward. But I mean, if they did, or when they do, he's definitely the type of guy who I think provides at the very least like a very high floor, because like I said, I mean, he can defend at the point of attack, but then he can also, switch out to become like the second line of defense, and that's so paramount, right? That's those guys. We throw out the label 3-and-D, but I think it's kind of like bastardized these days, right? I mean, not all 3-and-D players are created equal, and I mean, especially like with his offensive strides, we didn't even talk about that, but I mean, he seems to be getting better and better. So I mean, it's good. He's definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah,
definitely one of my favorite guys in the draft here. Just one more game before we sort of get into the main topic of the video. But Portland versus New Orleans. Again, I sort of tried to catch up today with some possessions. I like to watch possessions. Delano Banton, right? This guy was traded for a protected second-round pick, like a month ago? Right?
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, I think it's like I couldn't tell you the exact stat. I don't have the best memory, but I think this is the third or fourth time in the last week or so that I've seen like a stat line like this from Delano Banton, right? Yeah, last night, he had 28 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, and he did it on great efficiency, 50% from the field and 50% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. Just wondering what you guys' thoughts were on him. I mean, obviously he's doing it with Portland. He's getting a bit more opportunity than he would say on an average team, but I mean, definitely showing his worth considering he was traded for a protected second-round pick.
I mean, he's with more opportunity. He's definitely justifying being granted those minutes. I mean, since joining Portland, he's averaging 14.5 points. I mean, it's another it's another case study of development, and with development sometimes it comes, just like situation, timing and opportunity. I understood why the Celtics had he was with Boston, right?
Yes, yeah.
Prior, like he was a good flyer to take, and 6'7". He is a point guard for all intents and purposes. He is a point guard, 6'7" or whatever he is, really long. That's kind of been Boston's identity, right? Being very long, and athletic on the wings. But like he was in Toronto, the thing that's been holding him back is, as a lot of young guards, you can create off the dribble, but can you actually create a shot off the dribble? You know, I mean, NBA defenses aren't just going to give you like a layup line. And I think that's kind of what's been holding him back in terms of getting normal rotational minutes, with the Celtics, with the Raptors before that. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. And as Nick was saying, because I actually have him on my fantasy team, and I had him on the freaking bench, man. And I'm like, dude, not again, man.
You just gave me somebody that I can go grab with my one lost record.
See, there you go. See,
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Yeah.
But were there any more guys you were any more games you guys wanted to talk about? Any other players?
Well, again, you know what? Since we're on the topic, they did not play yesterday, but he definitely gets a shout out from me because I am not a Knicks hater. I'm not even saying I don't believe in the Knicks. I never said that. I just said I have reasons why I'm skeptical of how far they can go in this postseason. But big props to Josh Hart. Okay. No pun intended, but we could make it pun intended because, like I said, they lack bigs that can defend in space. And you know what? I love what Thibs did. I don't have a big. I don't care. I'm going to just put the best guy I have out there who can guard in space. And that's been Josh Hart. And man, has he delivered. Even against, was it a couple of weeks ago, against the Warriors. I mean, dude, played 45 out of 48 minutes pretty much at power forward. I mean, he had a triple-double the other day, right? I mean, with like how many rebounds? Was it like 19, 20 rebounds or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
8, yeah.
Is it sustainable? I don't know. But is that role sustainable? Probably.
Yes.
And that's not
Yes.
even a knock on Thibs. But I mean, that's why I tell people all the time, especially like youth basketball players, right? It's like when James Naismith, invented the game of basketball, right? There were no such thing as positions.
Right.
You put 5 guys on the court. You guys, your other team, you put 5 guys on the court. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
hey, Thibs may be old school, and this is like very old school, but you know what? I'm just going to put my 5 best players on the court. So I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it because they're finding ways to grind out wins.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, how many triple doubles has he had now over the last 15 games? I think it was 4, right?
I think 4.
It's crazy.
Lord.
Yeah.
With Anunoby back.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen all the Knicks games, but like I love the Knicks. Like they're my potential championship team. If Mitchell Robinson comes back healthy, I'm not so much worried about Julius because I feel like, because he throws his ego in there. It's like, oh, we're here. I gotta do it. Like if he can let go of the I gotta do it, they'll win the championship. They can. They're capable of winning the championship.
Yes.
That's what I like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
I
that's,
feel like
that's a very nice way to put it.
I don't know how well of a parallel this is or a comparison, but they're kind of like the have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Obviously, yeah, it's an amazing show. I'll check it out if you guys haven't seen it just yet. But sort of I don't know what's going on behind the closed doors of a locker room, obviously. But in terms of just they aren't the most talented team. They don't have the top end talent. They don't have the best middle end talent. You can make the argument they have great depth, right? But everyone plays their role so well, and they all fit so well together that they're able to all get the best out of each other. And that's why I agree with Mike. I don't necessarily see the need for Julius to come back. I think they're just as well off without him as with him.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after the Anunoby trade. The Anunoby trade made it where he's pretty much expendable. I don't know what you trade out and get back for him, but it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? He could be the 6th man at this point. Like, yeah, come do that scoring punch stuff off the bench if you want to. I mean, because he's talented.
You say it so casually, but wow.
Isn't
that what you youngsters would say is a hot take?
Like Josh Hart's doing what he does. You know what I mean? So it's just like you just said, like, is that something that can be done on this team? It is. And that's what he was doing. You know what I mean? Just except he would probably like shoot more. He would probably control the ball more. But Josh Hart is doing it like damn near, just not being a focal point and making that type of same thing happen. You know what I mean? Like the role is there. The capability to have those numbers is there, but does it have to have a name next to it? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure Anunoby is capable of maybe not the triple-double part of it, but he's capable of double-doubling it. You know what I mean? And then an assist can get dispersed amongst the team. Like that role is there. So you take the selfishness out of it and make it a more selfless thing with the teammates, and look what you have. You have New York still trending without him. You know what I mean? I know he's probably sitting over there like, man, I need to hurry up and get back because.
I mean, what you're describing is what like a lot of championship coaches or just coaches in general say all the time, right? It's like, can you be a star in your role? And right now, like that is what Josh Hart is doing, right? Like, doesn't matter if like the league views you as a superstar, whatever, like star in your role, and there's no way, right? It can be ignored. It's awesome.
And he was doing it in New Orleans.
He was. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just maybe it was recency bias, but like the way he's doing it right now, I'm like, what the? Like he's like just throwing his body around there. Like, what? It's pretty cool. Right? Everybody likes to see like a small guy battle like a big, right? So just kind of how Steph got the stop on LeBron last night. Boom.
Yes.
Absolutely.
man, let's not even go back into the Warriors talk because I could
mean,
talk so much stuff.
not more Warriors talk, but I do want to just say, I mean, it's not something that hasn't already been said, and echoed across the league, but just LeBron's performance last night at 39.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think it's just important we sort of
Yeah.
make the most of this while we can, and appreciate what we can. I mean, what do you have?
Oh yeah.
48 and 9
Finished with
last night.
40 points.
He's nearly 40 years old. Yeah, I don't want to get back into the game. Obviously, we've already spoken about it, but I just realized we haven't really mentioned that. I think it's definitely worth giving props.
Definitely.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, going back to OG Anunoby and that talk, I just did the math in my head, quick math. I think it's been 3.5 months to the day since the trade, the big 3.5, everyone's favorite anniversary. What are your sort of grades on the, just really quickly, your grades on the trade? Because at the time I sort of looked at it as a very win-win trade, for both teams. Like, who do you think came out on top there?
Oh, Knicks all day. They propelled themselves to a championship lane when they got OG Anunoby, in my opinion. Like that was just like, oh well, like if they lost Randall but didn't have Anunoby, it might be a problem because you don't have that other player that's out there that's gonna do the little things, the in between things, but that's capable of still giving you 20. You know what I mean? And being able to guard the other team's best player. That's Julius can't do that. I mean, Josh will give you his heart, pun intended. Josh will give you his heart, but OG Anunoby, especially coming from being around Kawhi Leonard and Pascal and Kyle Lowry, that championship team, having that when he was just fresh into the league, and he probably already just had the monkey off his back since then. It's just like, okay, well, how can I be great? Like Khan said, in my role, what can I do? So you bring that player in, and the sky is the limit for them. It's up to them, really, whether they want to win the championship or not. It's on nobody else at this point. Because outside of Mitchell Robinson coming to guard like Giannis and Embiid, to stop Tatum and Brown from getting to the cup so easy, Bam. Who's in New York's way outside of that? If Mitchell Robinson comes back and he's healthy enough to play his defense the way he plays it, change shots at the rim, like the Knicks are in there. It's going to be on them. It's going to be about making timely shots. Shout out to Dante DiVincenzo, ex-Warrior, who took he rubbed on Steph and Clay or something, and then he went to New York and it's just like on fire. You know what I mean? So they have him. He can be timely. You got Anunoby. He can be timely. Josh Hart. He can get the hustle. They have all the elements of a championship team. You know what I mean? That's really what I'm getting after.
I totally agree. Like, what they've done with the roster over there is just nothing short of remarkable. I mean, props to Leon Rose. They've done a fantastic job. I was doing a piece earlier this week about teams of the brightest futures. This is for the lead, my writing. And I pivoted that to up and coming teams outside the playoffs. But originally, with the brightest futures, I had the Knicks actually at the constellation number one. Obviously, Thunder have one in every single measure of the stick. But for the Knicks, I mean, what they've pulled off and what they've managed to create a contender, right? And how many picks they still have? I think they have 6 first-round picks over the next 2 years. I think maybe more. And they have like a whole cabinet of picks. Like they could very easily look at the pieces they got right now, right? They have contracts they can throw together. And I'm not saying blow this up at all. I love what they have going for them, right? But they've managed to have a contending roster whilst not only not scalping their entire pick cabinet, but adding to it. They have one of the I think they have the second most picks, third most picks of anyone over the next 5 years. First round pick, that is, behind the Thunder and the Jazz.
Of course.
That's just off the top of my head. But I just want to give props to that. I mean, they've just done a fantastic job. And I think this is one of the better ideas, the better run franchises of the last 3 to 4 years in recent memory, which is in complete parallel to the last 20, 30 years for the Knicks. right? I mean,
Yeah.
they've always been the sort of the joke of the league in terms of how they've been run.
That's true.
But they've just done a fantastic job this current iteration of the front office.
I agree.
Excellent. Just one more thought on that though. Like, I still stand. I still stand by my belief that it was a trade. It was a win for both sides. I really like. I understand because I mean,
Totally.
the Raptors and the Knicks they're definitely in different stages of obviously contention and team building. And given that the Raptors came at an impasse where it's like, okay, it's time to move on from Pascal, specifically more so Siakam, but also Anunoby. In terms of a transition phase where your goal now is to build around Scotty Barnes, I like that trade for them. I do. I think the Raptors, because I don't think they're empty stats. I see a vision. I mean, I could be wrong, right? I'd love Masai Ujiri to be a guest on here, right? And ask, but if you really look at it, especially even like the Kelly, like it's a separate trade, but acquiring Kelly Olynyk and everything, right? High level passing at all 5 positions,
Yeah.
that cannot be overlooked.
Yeah,
That is so important, and it's coming, like if you watch the games, like you could definitely see the synergy that's being built between them, and obviously there's some setbacks. I guess there's some family tragedy with RJ Barrett, so my condolences to him and his family, but again, things bigger than basketball, but he's just saying that, like, when he has been on the court, when he quickly has been on the court, and then Scotty Barnes obviously is injured, but when the three of them were, you could really start to see them really developing an identity. So hey, right, we asked this question again. What did you say? 3.5 months? 15.5 months after the trade. We'll see, right? I mean, maybe we can look at it like even more glowingly.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Also, props to. I mean, I keep chiming in with different kinds of props, but Darko Rajakovic, fantastic scheme he's running over there. I think as they sort of add some more pieces, I think he'll get his props.
I love Coach Darko, man.
He's a really cool dude, but especially his philosophy. I mean,
like, said, I can't say Scotty Barnes without pronouncing it the way he does. Like the way he rolls the R is so cool. Barnes.
Everyone's bouncing around the room. But yeah, sort of the identities he's created with the ball movement. I think once they get some guys that can actually really shoot the ball and some real paces around that, he's really gonna. The league's really gonna take notice. I think the people that are really, really intently watching basketball and like the league as a whole, I think are realizing it so far. But I mean, I reckon everyone will see that really soon once they're really starting a team together. And I don't think it's gonna be that long, right? I mean, they got picks for Pascal, but I mean they got a good amount of young talent coming through already. They've sort of fast tracked the rebuild before it even started, which is really an interesting strategy. But yeah, I thought what he's doing over there is fantastic.
I mean, I've always had a high, like a high opinion of Masai Ujiri. I don't know, maybe I don't question his moves as often or as thoroughly as I should. But no, I mean, like, I can at least respect when you have like a plan and a rationale behind your things, and he always seems to. So yeah, it's exciting.
All right, well, we spent a bit longer than we probably should have.
This was a prop,
but it was a fantastic.
This is the prop
segment. Yeah, but we'll sort of move on onto the main topic of the episode, and that was, I believe, players that we've not given up on, right? But I think we phrased it selling stocks in. We're trying to be nice. Just sort of like rookie guys still on their rookie deals, that we aren't necessarily as high on as we were. And if the NBA was a stock market, we would be selling the shares in those players. So, as always, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to assume. Mike, you got a list, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he got a list. All
The
right, Mike,
list
fire us.
maker.
Let's do the math. How many rookies have there been since 2020? Like so.
Let me see here. Let me get to it. Oh, we 2020, right? Yeah. Uh-oh. Here we go. Uh-oh.
Uh,
Nick, you here?
He is. He'll chime in. Let's see if we have the
Okay.
same pick. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, should I go with the home pick first, or should I go with
It's both our home pick, right? I mean, he belongs to both of us. So go ahead.
damn? So you got him too? Okay, so I'll go the other way. And
No, go.
isn't Mason stays in Utah, right? So even though the player's not in Utah anymore, but I mean, I could go with him right now, but I have two for that year, and he's one of them. Fans probably know, especially we could just show logos and they'll know what's going on here. Like yeah. So I'll just speak of the other pick, which is,
Okay.
and I only have two for this year, but I got I might butcher his name, please don't let me do that, but I got Udoka Azubuike because I felt like in Utah, uh, who was uh who was playing there? Was it Whiteside at the time? And he like went down, and then Azubuike like just start reeling off double doubles, and I'm just like, yeah, come on, get it going, because he was one of the players that I was paying attention to coming into the league, that got drafted that year, and
Kansas.
because I love big men, you know what I mean? Like I've never stopped loving the big man game, even years ago. Like I don't know, me and my boy were doing pods, and it's on some YouTube somewhere. I gotta look it up, but I called it like Big Man Reign, and we talked about just the big men not really, like the league trying to change everything up and get rid of big men, but they were important. I felt like Azubuike could have been, like a Bynum, like even a Whiteside. Like he could have been a producer, you know what I mean? At least a double double machine. And to see kind of his trajectory where he got drafted, he didn't, do too much. But then that next year, when he started to get the opportunities, he started to kind of show glimpses and signs. But it's just like now, you know, Phoenix can use him, but you know what I mean? Like,
So to be clear, he's on a two-way contract with the Suns right now.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I just think they keep saying Phoenix needs what outside of Yusuf Nurkic, they need another big. Use him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, is he doing enough to show them that he's capable of actually playing with
Well,
that team?
Phoenix has Isaiah Stewart's Rock'em Sock'em buddy, right?
Yeah. So I
Um,
mean, I just think his height though, you can't teach height. You know what I mean? But I guess there's something missing from his game.
yeah, I
Uh-oh.
mean that. Okay, no. See, for me personally, it's hard for me to say I have sold or am selling stock on him. I never owned any. I'm sorry. I did not think highly of him as a prospect. I mean, I get what you're saying. 6'11",
Yeah.
He's definitely got, the build. It's 270.
Right.
Definitely strong,
Right.
But going back to his Kansas days, like I don't want to call him like a black hole, right? I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
He's
the
kind of
worst
ready to use
thing
the
you can
phrase.
come up
No, but like it's what we talked about with like some other star players. Like a
Yeah.
possession dies with that player
With that player, yeah.
when the ball finds them, and it's just there are players that just aren't particularly good passers. Then there are players that are bad passers or don't know
Yeah.
it. Like he has none of that. Now that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to play him because he can't do any of like those connective plays.
Okay.
So Yeah, it's I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know what his career trajectory would be with regards to finding his place in the NBA. I mean, that motor I do think is real. I think it's genuine. You know, I don't
Right.
think you can. Like, I know NBA players will say like they know players that fake hustle. I
Yeah.
don't think Udoka Azubuike, right, is
Yeah.
guilty of fake hustling. But yeah, it's tough to say like how likely it is he could kind of really get back and solidify himself as even like a rotational player.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I see. I mean, obviously he hasn't been on an NBA like an NBA court, right? He's
Yeah.
been playing for their G League team, but I'm not sure like how much improvement he needs to show where like he's really considered, you know, like a staple of
Yeah.
whatever team's rotation.
Right.
So, but on the
Yeah.
topic of 2020 big men, do you have another one, Michael?
Yes, I have James Wiseman,
Here it
who
comes.
who only shows flashes and never like just the other day he just went crazy against who did we beat somebody damn, who did we just beat? Okay, we won the game, but
Charlotte?
he was a big part of it. Was it the Charlotte game? Because we played Miami yesterday, and we
Yeah, it
played
was
who today?
Charlotte. Yeah, it was
Was it
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yeah. I
Oh,
watched it again.
Nick, like, yeah, it was Charlotte. But yeah. So and I don't know if I don't know. Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry, I don't know. Just to interrupt. He did this thing I've never seen before. He had like a step back dunk. Did you guys see that?
Wiseman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I've ever seen that.
Like,
I just
and
never.
that's what I mean. He's capable of things. You know what I mean? Like I was just saying about Azabuki. You can't teach height. You can't teach length. Like you have it.
Right.
So you have the ability to do some things, just like with Victor Wembanyama, just like with Giannis. You have the ability to do some things. When is it going to come to you that okay, they can't stop this, so or why don't you go get with Kareem and get his hook shot? You know what I mean? No one's patented that since him. And it's the most unstoppable move ever known to man because they're right here guarding you and you're shooting from over here. So
That's
unless
what I've always
somebody's
thought, right?
coming, yeah.
I don't know why
So
no one's ever tried to add that to their game.
I
Well, people
don't
have,
know.
but
I mean,
not consistently.
Andrew Bynum tried for a time when he was working with Kareem, but he ended up developing into what he developed into when he was at his height, and he was really good at his height. But Wiseman needs to I don't know what it is, and I have heard some things um like I don't even want to say it because it would seem like I'm going to change the vibe of the pie. But I've heard some things that had me thinking like, oh, okay. But at the same time, you're a basketball player. You play in the league. They believe in you. You're getting minutes. So why do we just see flashes? Why do we get that game and then you go back to scoring 6 points and
I
missing
mean,
rebounds and missing defensive assignments and you know what I mean, being late to in your coverage and stuff like that. Like it's just is I'm I don't want to say losing faith yet, but I when it was the trade deadline, I was saying go ahead and get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like because maybe I don't know what team he could go to, but like who's the worst team other than us? You're here. So you have opportunity. That's why you have opportunity. Anywhere else, where would you get this opportunity? You were on a championship Warriors roster that won after they moved you. And you couldn't do anything for them. Now you're here. We were the worst team. I think we're tied with the Wizards now, I think, or something like that. Or we're close. So you're getting the minutes and you're still not producing all the time in your minutes. Like after being on a Warriors roster with their staff, with those players, with Draymond Green's IQ, after being here, you see what Jalen Duren's doing. You practice against him every day, Isaiah Stewart. So it's not like you don't have players around you that can help you grow. And they said Taj Gibson came in and has been helping them. Thank you, God. But and we've also had who else? No, he was working out with Kevon Looney because I was keeping like really close eye on Wiseman since he's been drafted, just watching his workouts, watching stuff. I know he had pretty much an injury plagued year, but at some point you gotta just be able to come off the bench and be Andre Drummond, bro. At least. You know what I mean? You too big not to. So
I mean, can I just say that game was against the Hornets. The Hornets are a team that typically have a lot of disappointing NBA players suddenly show a flash against them.
yeah,
There always seems to be
yeah.
that one random guy off the bench that just drops 30 on us. That happens quite a bit.
That sounds like the Pistons too, because we do that.
Yeah, but see, the Pistons swept the season series between the Hornets, so I don't.
Like I said, big picture, a loss may actually be a win, right? In the big picture. So.
Not really. I mean, there's still like 4 games.
Oh,
like,
for the
behind
Hornets,
us.
yeah.
It's just the Denver pride at this point.
But going back to Wiseman, you know, they say comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Okay.
But in this case for Wiseman, as Michael said, how can you not be compared to your teammates that you practice with and play alongside every day? Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. And if anyone, I know Michael, I actually both of you know, but any of my followers know, like I am very high on Jalen Duren.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, like it sounds mean, but like everything you want Wiseman to be, or everything he isn't, Jalen Duren is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, it just completely, like, magnifies, like, what he's lacking in.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael said, like, you know, as you said, like, you can't teach length, you can't teach height, you can't teach athleticism.
Yeah.
But watch the way, okay, and even if he's not Jalen Duren, like, Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart are not the same. Like, they don't play the position the same way, but they play both really effectively. Right? In the way that they do it. Wiseman, like, you have the length, but you negate it by fading on all your shots. I've never seen someone like fade on a floater before. Like, what are you doing? You know? I preach it all the time.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I think Con's cut out.
Con is cutting out.
We might just move on to the next guy.
That's funny. I'm glad we got that part. A fading floater. That's gonna be one for the pod. That's one for the pod. Especially the YouTube. They get to see the blooper of this. But I guess until he gets back, we need to go in on one of your players.
For sure. So this one was a tough one for me to decide on, just in terms of the player I ended up having to pick. Sort of, he's an Australian, and in Australian culture there aren't many guys in the NBA, so you really get behind the Australians. You know, it's like a really everyone is. It's all anyone talks about. You'll walk down the street, if you want to have a conversation with anybody about the NBA, they couldn't tell you who's first in the West right now, who's first in the East, but they could tell you what Josh Giddey's stat line last night was. Right. Or Josh Green or Dante Exum, whoever, right? Yeah. But yeah, as I said, I picked Josh Giddey.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
I've
given up, and this is hard for me because I'm a really big Giddey fan. I mean, on my desk right now, I've got a signed Giddey hat, right?
Oh wow!
I'm a big Josh Giddey guy. But I'm selling my stock in Josh Giddey. I mean, his points per game, right? They've dropped below his rookie season, right? I mean, he's less efficient. He's scoring less. He's creating less. Overall, I mean, it feels like he's sort of just falling behind the rest of this roster. It's, the rest of the roster is sort of rising, and he's just sort of cruising at the level he was at. And I just don't feel like. I mean, he feels like the kind of the odd guy out, right? I mean, eventually, when it comes to it, the Thunder are gonna have to pay all these guys, and I don't feel like Giddey, there's going to has to be a couple of people that they don't pay, right? Giddey's one of those guys, and maybe when he goes somewhere else, he finds a new role and he's better. But as of right now, I've just sort of given up a lot of my hope in Josh Giddey.
Wow, I'm blew back by that pick. I'm blew all the way back. I would attribute it.
Whoa.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying. Sorry for my technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, we gonna double back because
But
you're gonna have to pick up from that fading. But let's finish with Nick's pick real quick. Like Josh,
I tune into something. Wow.
Yeah,
It's just
like that.
he's hard to watch at this point. He can't shoot. He's still a good playmaker, but it's hard to create. And I'm not a bad guy. I don't like when people go on about this guy's better than this guy because he's got a bag, right?
Yeah.
But Josh Giddey just doesn't seem to have. I mean, it worked for the first couple of seasons of his career where he could just sort of dribble past guys, dribble around guys. But he has. I feel like just sort of from watching him now, he's sort of just been sort of figured out by NBA defenses, and he has no way to create a shot for himself or others. And that's why his efficiency's gone down. That's why his assist numbers have gone down. And I just don't believe he's part of the future for the Thunder. I don't think he has. There was one point where I thought this guy was all-star, all-NBA ceiling. I was really high on this guy, especially as an Australian. But he's hard to watch, and he can't space the floor as well. I mean, if he was there because he could create for others, and he was able to just sort of, not to a great level, but he could create for himself, right?
Yeah.
But he can't create for others anymore. We can, but not to the level he was. He can't create for himself, and he can't stretch the floor. I don't know why he's out there.
Wow.
Colin, you seem to be very animated, as
you
always.
make the Gordon Hayward.
There are levels to my thoughts here. You know what I'm saying? One, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for you. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I like that you are critical. You brought up that he's Australian. Like sometimes I find because sometimes I find that I'm harder on or more critical of like Filipino players because I'm Filipino. Right. And it's like, no, I'm not just gonna like blindly support you because you're my countryman. So I do like that. Right. Not to sit on the fence, but like, no, I'm listening to everything you're saying, Nick. I think you make a lot of great points. I think to me though, and again, the whole point of this pod is, are we selling stock? Not necessarily are we losing faith? Because I would agree with you. I think I'm selling my stock on OKC Giddey.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but everything that you still said, I think he is capable of being, like an all-star player at one point. But I agree. I mean, that's going back to a couple episodes what we said, right? Like you could make, like when we talked about Trey Mann, like we can make an argument that OKC they've done nothing wrong. If anything, this is an example of how well they've drafted and developed. And as like Nick said, I think as their roster, as they've drafted and developed more players, he's finding, he potentially could be eventually the odd man out. But I still think he possesses the skill set that a lot of teams value. Like I said, I don't always think we need to be beholden to positional designations.
Yeah.
But, there is a big difference if you look at him as a point guard as opposed to a point forward.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I don't think he has the shot creation abilities, like off the dribble, to be a full-time, like backcourt, point guard.
Yeah.
But like, again, not to just make it about Warriors, but guys like Andre Iguodala, right? Like he thrived. He thrived at like that point forward role, right? When you're still flanked by two ball handling guards that could also shoot.
Right.
Then puts you in a better position. So I do agree with Nick. I think his standing in OKC might be kind of dropping, but definitely not giving up on that guy. Like I don't think like, definitely the talent's all there. You know, it's just it might be better off with a different team.
Right.
See, but what I mean is like, I'm not fully giving up on him either.
Right.
At this point, I just don't see. Maybe it's just because there's so much more talent in OKC. It's just hard for him to shine. I just don't see what he brings to the game as much anymore, right? Other than a little bit of creation for others. As I said, he can't stretch the floor. He's not some kind of elite defender, right? And he's been struggling to create for himself, right? He's having career lows in efficiency, in scoring, and career lows in creation for others, because in turn with him not being able to create for himself, he can't, he's not able to draw in the defenses the way he was, right? And in turn, that means they're able to cover his teammates. And that's why he's been moved to the bench, right? Yeah. So Isaiah Joe can come into the starting lineup. I believe that's how they've been running it. I haven't watched the last few games of OKC. Unfortunately, haven't been able to. But he's just sort of fallen out of the starting lineup. And I think it's purely because of the fact that there was something there. I don't see what's there anymore. And as I said, this is really tough for me to say, man. This is like Josh Giddey's probably one of my top 5 guys in the league, and probably even higher, right? I got memorabilia all around my room of Josh Giddey, right? I'm not fully giving up on him. I think he can still be something in the league. I just don't know what, right? I mean, I think he'll get beyond this contract. He'll get another contract, maybe 2, just based on the fact that he's a high lottery pick. And maybe there's still something there, but I just don't see. Maybe I'm missing something, right? I mean, I'm young. I haven't watched the game for many years. This is only my second year of actually actively watching the NBA, right? So maybe I'm missing something. I just don't see what he brings anymore.
Damn. I did not expect Josh Giddey to make this list whatsoever. Like, wow. I don't like to introduce the negative aspects of the game to coverage, but maybe it's attributed to things that were going on with him, I guess, and then just the plugging in Chet Holmgren in the way that they're doing it, and then acquiring Gordon Hayward as well. You know what I mean? Which may basically be the replacement. You know what I mean? Like, he might be Josh Giddey's replacement. They already got him at whatever amount that he's making. So, like you mentioned, how are they going to keep them all? And he is probably on his way out. You just put him in a whole nother realm to me that I didn't really think of. And I think he is probably out the door. You know what I mean? And they'll probably flip him for like another first round pick or something like that, or some more picks. You know how they do. But wow. I didn't.
See, I don't even think he's worth a first round pick anymore. I think he's one of those guys that's worth a few
couple seconds.
I just don't see what he brings to the court. I mean, he seems like one of those guys that is just so decent at everything, but doesn't excel at anything, And at that point, what's the point of being on an NBA court if you don't bring something that, every other guy on the court can bring, right? I mean, that's why Isaiah Joe is overtaking him, because Isaiah Joe actually actively brings something to the lineup, right? Whereas Josh Giddey is just there kind of thing,
He's just filler now. Wow.
Right.
Wow. Woo! This is a pod. This is gonna get people talking.
I mean, it's a pretty fiery way to end it, but I think we've got to end it here.
Because we're having technical difficulties worldwide. It's usually me.
Make sure to check us out on Spotify. Rate us 5 stars. Helps with the algorithm. Make sure to check out our YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to grow it on there. And we will see you guys next week. Hopefully with Mason, as long as he doesn't have too much of a hangover.
Oh, yeah. Miami Mace.
All right. See you guys next week.